Hello, Dr. Shaw here, and welcome to another episode on Teaching Humanity Remotely. This weekend, I had the absolute honor and pleasure to attend a person who means so much to me, attend her 70th surprise birthday party. And the effort was great because my son recently got out of the hospital. My adult son got out of the hospital and, still healing. And we had to go to another state, and we had to take a plane, and I had to make sure that my son was going to be home with all the care that he needed. And we happened to have a nurse and also a nurse to be, and I was able to attend this event. And I have to say, it so reinforced my philosophy that a life well lived is a life that's full of love. This person has a very strong religious background, so she's a member of a church and she does a lot of work in her church, and she also has a very strong healing background, and she's known my son since he was 4 months old. When he couldn't say his name is Joshua, and when he got to the age where he started to talk, he couldn't say Joshua, but he said Awa. And there's this big, beautiful woman with large hands with this very little premature baby who grew slowly and was very small, and her large hands doing body work on the small little body, and you could just feel how she was so present and just moved the energy. She just moved the energy, and her humbleness, knowing that it was a gift given to her and she was working by getting out of the way. And I said to her when I saw her, I said, in my lifetime, I am to a lot of families the way she is to my family. I kind of am in awe of her. She's really a hero to me. When anyone gets sick in the family, I'll call her, even though we sometimes live in different states, and I'll say, what do I need to do to get out of the hospital? What do I need for Joshua? And she'll always give me an answer. And yesterday, what I noticed when we were together at the surprise party is I saw how attentive she was to each and every person. And it's interesting because she's often late, and I want to be able to tell her that she's late because she's making very good choices of what she's attending to. So even though I'm a person who's not late, I can admire the fact that she's giving everything the attention it needs and everyone the attention she needs, and no one felt left out. There were a lot of people at this party, but she managed to give each person the attention, her attention, that really we were giving to her, but somehow she's able to reciprocate and make sure that she gave each person what they needed, even though we were there all for her. She just knows the secret, that emotional generosity. And I just wanted to say how grateful I was to be able to be part of it and to have that reinforced to me that a life well lived is a life that's full of love. And that really is the most important. And then how do you get that kind of life? It's based on the choices you make. You have to know what you want, and then you have to think, what am I going to do to get it? And I think that's a really good thing to be able to tell our children, what do you want? Oh, I want to make the baseball team. Okay, what are you going to do to get it? Oh, I want to do really well in this class. Okay, what are you going to do to get it? I really want this material thing. Okay, what are you going to do to get it? Are you going to get allowance? Are you going to work? Are you going to save your money when you get birthday gifts? What are you going to do to get it? What do you want, and what are you going to do to get it? And it just made me feel so happy to be part of. I wanted in her life. I wanted her to know how much I loved her and valued her and how much my family appreciated her. I wanted to be part of her inner circle. And what did I do to get it? I showed up. I showed up the way that I showed up, and she respected that. And through mutual respect, we now have a really fulfilling friendship. And I think that, again, that reinforces my philosophy that satisfying, fulfilling relationships are always mutual. And when a relationship is not fulfilling, there's information there. Make different choices. Figure out if you still want the relationship, and if you do, what you need to do about it. And if you don't, then that's okay too. And once again, knowing when it's right to give up and when it's important to try harder. If we make a commitment, last time we spoke about that if you make a commitment, it's important to honor it. But it's also okay to know that I tried something and it didn't work out for me. I don't think it's okay to be a helicopter parent and allow your children to take up space in an extracurricular activity and then in the middle of the season give it up. I think it's important to see something through. And I think it's important to front load that commitment to begin with so that there's no surprises. And then if you don't want to do dance anymore after you did dance for a semester, I think that could be okay. Because I think it's a matter of teaching your children to be open to trying things, trying a new food, trying a new friendship, trying a new class, trying something new, making a commitment to stay with it for as long as you commit to, and then if it's good, continue, and if it doesn't serve you, you'll be able to get out of it, but also taking the responsibility that's yours. But it's just so interesting for me to know that I get what I want. Once I see what I want, and I make the effort towards it, I make the decision, I'm making choices, I have the power to get what I want, and I get what I deserve. And I deserve this person in my life, and I deserve to have the admiration and love from this person who I see as such a big, tremendous person, such an important person, such a hero in my life, because I give her that love and respect and admiration. And so why wouldn't I get it back? And I really feel like that's what's so important. I know I've said this before, but there was a time when I gave my son a kidney. I was a teacher, and the people who took care of me 24/7 as my son was healing in the hospital and I was home, the people who took care of me were the parents of the children that I taught. Before that happened, my immediate reservation was, I'm going to be taking off during a school year. I wish it could have been in the summer because I feel like I don't want to take advantage, and parents won't want me as their teacher if I'm taking days off. And lo and behold, they wanted me even more because they saw me as a good mother, and you can't be a good teacher if you're not a good mother first, if you happen to be a mother. If I wasn't a mother, I think there could be many good teachers who are not mothers, but the fact that I have responsibility to my children, and then I have responsibility to your children. And it was very interesting, and my brother was like, why are you so surprised? You take care of these children all day long for years and years and years. Why would you think that parents wouldn't want to give back to you? And it was a big lesson. It was a big lesson for me. It was like, aha, that was a big moment. Why wouldn't I think that? Why wouldn't I understand that quality relationships are mutual? And what I give, because I'm so blessed to be able to be giving and generous, somebody else wants to do that for me too. That's what makes life fulfilling. And if I could only give and never receive, I'm denying someone what I want to be able to do so much myself. Why would I do that? Because I'm not worthy? Got to change that. Got to change that. So I just want to say how grateful I am to being in a room where one person was so loved, and based on this one person and her presence and her spiritual openness and generosity and knowingness, everyone felt the love and everyone was connected. And she kept on saying, it's like all of you are part of the story. You all know about each other, and now you're all getting to be in a room together because you're all so important to me. It was such a beautiful experience, and I felt like I arrived. I was exactly where I wanted to be. And prior to my attending, I'm not feeling that great. I'm tired, and it was a really big effort. And I knew that if I could just plow through it, I would be paid back. It's so much so. And it's exactly true. And it was a lesson like knowing when it's time to give up and rest, and knowing when you should plow through it, because you're going to get so inspired and so alive and so fed that any kind of tiredness is going to fall by the wayside, because the experience itself is so awakening. So that was a very good lesson too. So I love that I got invited, and I love to be reminded that a life well lived is a life that is full of love, and that is the greatest gift that we can give to each other and ourselves. Until next time, be well.